high-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hello traders, and welcome to our live trading workshop for today. We got a lot in store for you, so those of you joining in new for the first time, our format is that we will take a look at some live trading potential trades kicking in. After that, we will be looking at, in fact, in terms of the live trading potential trades, we're looking at DAX actually today, and I'll look at gold a little bit as well. There's a lot on the topic right now. And then the second thing is also we'll be taking a look at a topic, right, that you guys have been waiting for as well. Some of you have also requested for this, which is how to trail your stop so that you don't kill your winners, right? We want to let the winners run, but nobody teaches you how, isn't it? So today will be very revealing. We will talk to you about that as well. There are three things that you need to know. Firstly, you need to know the three types of stops, which most people do not know. I'll talk all about that and much more. And then the third thing is we'll finish off with some Q&A. So if you've got any questions during the session, do type it in, do punch it into the chat box. Another thing is that we'll also update you on the events that are coming up as well. So this and more in this live trading workshop. Traders, those of you joining in new for the first time, this is Teo Naupan here, founder of Master the Markets, Illiteracy Conference, and the Traders Open Day. So with that said, let's move on to the DAX trade for today. So I'm taking a look at this. I'm going to update my table over here and see what the trend alignment is. In fact, I was going through with one of our clients yesterday as well on how we actually analyze this. So uptrend phase one I've got on the DAX on the daily time frame. You can see that that has been coded here onto the trend box. I know some of you might be thinking, you know what is this trend box? How did they get this trend? What are these blue arrows? Don't worry, I'll give you some reference links very shortly. In fact, what I will also do, I will let you guys know about some of the stuff over here actually. 7 steps to CTP, isn't it? That's the place. If you guys can't wait for the link, you can definitely go and take a look at that. But coming back onto here on the screen over here, so let's take a look. On the daily time frame, we got the uptrend phase 1. On the 4-hour, we got a downtrend phase 2. Okay, so I'm just updating it onto this trend alignment table. I'm just going to be showing you all that very shortly too as well. And then on the 1 hour, let's take a look at that 1 hour stuff, right? So on the 1 hour, what I've got here is on the 1 hour. So let's take a look on the 1 hour, traders, on here. I've got the volume here as well. I did see there was some volume support on the DAX yesterday. So here on the 1 hour, let's take a look at that. You see the volume spike, the elephant in the room, right? Remember that in your VSA principles that we apply onto this framework here. Now you see over here on the 1 hour, we got an uptrend phase 1. Okay, so I'm seeing a pattern forming here and some good volume support. And then on the 15-minute is where we will look to enter the trade. Okay, now as I've mentioned before, traders, your objective of I like the setup. That's good. It's setting up there. Now on the 15 minutes uptrend phase 1. Okay, this will be a good one on a Telegram channel. I will be sending out this trade call very shortly. Now let me explain a few things. Okay, so why am I checking the trend across all the time frames? Now what's the reason for that? Now the first, you see, everything that you analyze, okay, all the parameters that you look at is towards two objectives, towards the entry component. Okay, that is only one component out of five. I see a lot of traders just getting crazy about just entry, getting their entry right. That's not the only be all end all, you know. So the entry though, if I were to talk about this component, there are two objectives of your parameters that you build up. Okay, the first objective is for direction bias. Okay, direction bias. So in this case, what we do here is that for that direction bias, I see the trend alignment across all time frames. Okay, so the 4 time frames that I am looking at. Okay, not only that, very soon I will be taking a look at some stretch principle parameters also. Okay, and that is all towards the objective of the direction bias. Now, after I get my direction bias, which I've done across many live streams, which you can see on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/master the markets. After that, what we then do is that we just don't jump in. We professionals, we just don't jump in based on the direction. We time ourselves. So there's a little bit of a timing factor. Okay. So in terms of that, so what we do is, now let me go through this very quickly now. So I've got the trend alignment. So far it's showing towards the upside. Now, however, the bar mechanics, the next thing I look at is bar mechanics, okay? Stretch wise, again, this was coded by one of our clients as well, this stretch indicator that you can see, not these white lines, but you can see this green, blue, and then you can see this red, right? So it's never gone across this red line here. Forget about this one here. If it's distracting you, just look at this ones where I've drawn this here, okay? So it's only taken out the green line. So this is a good sign in terms of our stretch principle that it is towards the upside, okay? So one of our LTM advanced clients, yesterday I was going through this and he has been actually following the same thing, like one of the guys who actually popularized this, okay, back in the 1990s. Toby Crable is a big hedge fund manager. He actually talks about this in what they call the opening range breakout. Okay, a big hedge fund, billion dollar hedge fund manager, you know, Toby Crable. But rumor goes actually that he was actually taught by our mentor's mentor. And exciting thing is that this Friday we'll be also having with our elite team, we'll be having a meeting with the programmers who actually is designing this, uplifting the community this Friday. So it's exciting times here where we're really, you know, developing the products and really strong towards strength, you know, and which I'll talk a little bit about later when we come to the upcoming events. Now, in terms of the stretch, yes, it's taken to the upside. Again, another plus point to the long side. Range lines, okay, range lines. I take a look at between 8 a.m. to 12 noon range. So over here, I've got my 12 noon, and that will be my 8 a.m. low, okay? Right, so it's taken out that as well, okay? So very, very strong to the upside. Now, Bro to ST ratio. So don't worry about all these terminologies. I'm going to give you all that, some reference links and some homework for you guys to do. And then you guys can go through all of them, okay? And then in today's topic on trailing stop, I will talk a little bit more about how do we manage the trade. In terms of previous daily high and low, that's taken up to the upside. So you know what, traders, this is very strong. So remember the objective, what I said, by aligning all of these things is towards the direction bias and then timing, okay? Now, I haven't come to timing yet, which I will talk about in a bit. And then you'll see me populate the entry, stop loss, and target orders. Now, so look at this one here, okay, on DAX, right? Focus on this row here. So the first 4 columns here is towards a direction bias, okay? You can see that daily is uptrend. You know, the 4-hour, however, is in a downtrend, but it's a phase 2. So it's a bottom to top stool direction. So direction is a line. And then 1 hour and 15 minutes is all in an uptrend. So this is very strong, right? Towards the upside. At least 3.5 points you can give there because yes, 4 hour is not in the trend alignment, but the direction is towards you. Now, the next 4 columns, what they're telling you is that this is the bar mechanics, okay? Right? According to the concept and objective of the strategy, okay? I talked a little bit about this before. In Traders Basecamp package, we go through this much more in detail, okay? And it's an entire e-course, plus, it's a 2-day live webinar as well. So you can look into it. You can email us at clientservice@masterthemarkets.net as well if you want more details of that, okay? Even people with 10, 15 years of experience come to that. Now, in terms of these 4 columns here, it's also pointing to the upside here, you see? All my stretch, my range lines, the ratio, and all of this, right? Now, so therefore, we got 7.5, so plus 4 points for that, isn't it? So I'm scoring it. So you see 7.5 out of 8 points. So it's very high score. So therefore, now I know in terms of my direction bias, I am pointing it towards the long side, right? So that's 1, okay? That's the direction bias done. So this is a trend alignment table on our channel. You can go and find this video as well. It will be there. Now, timing wise, what I'm going to do right now, I just don't want to miss this one. I like this setup because there's a seller bar here. There's good volume here supporting this move. So what I'm going to be doing, if you want a tight stop, we will go for this one here. Sometimes you can get, when it's an insider bar, you can get a false breakout as well. But let me just see the 180R number here. That's 25 points it's done, isn't it? Right, so we will do this first. Let's see how this one turns out. 25158. So I'm going to put this in the chat box, then our team can copy it over into the Telegram channel where you all have joined. Now, entry is, as I said, it's towards 25, 159, 160. Those of you on Trade Nation, you can also look into this. Trade stop loss, I'll talk about it later as well. There's 2 ways where we can put the stop loss. I'm just using a different type of stop loss over here. You can use the MAE stop loss as well, which we have found it to be 1.75 ATR on close. But I'll use this for now. So let's see, yeah, on the low of this, 25,126. I'll go for this one here at the moment. 25,126. And then the target, we will do it for this. So I'll give you all the target in a minute. I will just, let me see, on the high, 25,158 plus 25, isn't it? 25,158 plus 25. 25,158, very near the entry point. 25,183. That could be your first target. I've just sent that out over there to you guys on the Zoom chat box, and you guys can look into that on the Telegram channel. So 25,183. I will do that now. Let me see. This is going for it, isn't it? 25,183. Right. So allow for some spreads as well. 25,160, isn't it? Is with the spreads and everything, what I've said. Okay, so we will see how this plays out to being. What I'm also going to do, let me just check on my MEE numbers. 1.7. Do your risk management is very important. 60 points and 100 points. 60 points. 1.75. I might do this to begin. 1.75 times 25. Don't worry, I know some of you saying, what do you mean by MAE and all that? I'm going to cover that in the topic, so just be patient. So times 25, 43.75. So I've got the close. We can. 25,132 minus 43. Or we can just do 44. 25088. Okay, that's our conservative stop here. There we go. Right. Now, the final thing I need to do, this strategy, right, traders, in terms of targets, we can choose one small target. This has been backed up by research when we found, which I've put it at 25183. The other type of target, let me just put that exactly. I have put it at 25183. That's good. Now, the other thing that I can also do to capture the range of the day, okay? So yesterday, ATR 10 was 301. I was explaining it to our LTM advanced client yesterday, this one. 224. Then this one is 277, okay? Times 0.8. 22116. Right, so 221, let's say, 221 plus the low of the bar, okay? After this, as I promised, I'll give you all the links to go and read through and watch through. 24988. 25209. So there you go. So to make your 80% ATR range, those of you who know the strategy, I mean, those of our existing clients who have been following us for quite some time, I mean, I know that you guys are putting the principles onto other time frames as well, but you know the logic of this. And those of you who got the Smart Money Framework indicator, you will also have this in one of the strategies that we describe as well, right? We go through this in much detail. So I've got both the targets now. I'll put this on the Zoom chat as well. So target 2, then our team can then put this onto Telegram. And there we go. We got our second target there as well, 25209, okay, which is about 223. So we can see how this performs. Our first target, 25183, and then the second one at 25209, okay. So that's what we got, right? So in recap, what have we done, okay? So we looked at direction bias. We did a bit of timing with a pending order. And those of you who've been following us for quite some time, you know how this timing really saves you, right? You look for certain kinds of price action setups, volume confirmations as well, and then using the VSA principles. And then after that, then you put your orders in. And with the pending orders, you have seen that sometimes we've saved ourselves, preserved our capital. We don't enter into the market unnecessarily. It's not about just forcing a trade, you know, just entering the market every single day. It's like just waiting there with patience like a predator, and at the right time you get in, okay? So that's when you get in. Another way to put it across, like what Warren Buffett says, is, you know, when there's money lying on the table, then you go in and you take it, okay? So that's the whole premise of this, the pending orders, looking at the price action setup, the volume combination and everything, okay? So actually, in fact, next week, we're going to be doing a 5 full day webinar on all of this, and intraday as well, okay, with a US company, Ninja Catus, which I'll give you all some details how you can get in touch with that. So that's what we did. We did a direction bias, we did timing with our trend alignment tables, which you saw earlier, with the 8 columns over there. And then we put in our entry, stop loss, and target orders, as you can see over here, okay? And you got that on the Telegram channel. Now, I just want to mention one last thing is that, you know, we just also like to avoid being just like a signal service kind of a company. We always believe in becoming independent, which most of you want to as well. Yes, in the beginning, you can follow some signals to get some confidence, but nobody at the end of the day, right, wants to become a sheep, isn't it, right? Keep following blindly, right? Everybody wants to become independent. It's just a natural evolution and progress. So in terms of that, so we don't like to just give you the fish. We like to teach you how to fish. That's why we also teach you also what we are doing here, that you can then apply onto so many other instruments out there, right? Or any other strategy. And you will see when I look at the topic as well for today, you will see why these principles that I'm teaching over here can be applied on any strategy or any methodology. You have seen that, even on the VSA principles, the volume and all of that, you've seen how I'm applying on top of this, okay, principles. That's why the thing becomes very robust, because confluence of factors, okay? Good. I think with that all said, traders, you might have got a trigger already, so we will see how this goes. 25, 160, it's showing up. That should have triggered us. That's triggered it on the Trade Nation as well. So let's see how this goes. And we won't trail anything yet until it clears and finishes closing up for this bar, okay? We'll see how this goes, okay? Right, so I will keep it on here. And then for now, what we will do is we will look at the links that I'm supposed to give you guys. So the first thing is, the first place to start, right, to get a framework, and when I go through the topic for today, this will make more sense, is 7 steps to ctp.com. Okay, now once you go here, there's a free video course. You can put all your details in, your name, email, number, if you want to get live trading updates as well. Now click on the green button, click on Not a Robot, and then you'll be then put onto the next page where you will get all these 7 free videos. Okay, this takes you step by step. This was developed back in the 1970s, okay, by my mentor's mentor, as I said, the one who had taught Toby Crable, right? And when he wanted to publish his book on the opening range breakout, he told him, you know what, he wants to remain anonymous. He doesn't want to be named. Now, those guys are real geniuses, right? I've seen a lot of things online, but this is the only thing that makes sense and logic. That's why most of our clients stick over 10 years with us, right? So you can see that the first video starts with the problem. Okay, what is the recurring problem that most traders have? That's how everything starts off, isn't it? You want to solve a problem, right? After that, then the solution. The solution is in video 2, the first step that you do. Okay, I've covered some videos on YouTube as well. I'll show you some of them. And then the next few videos tells you about the stats that can help you, okay? Some critical numbers that you can apply onto any strategy. It doesn't matter whether you're doing Fibonacci, trend line, stochastic, doesn't matter at all. You can apply these 3 stats on any strategy, any methodology. VSA, of course, we can do it. We've shown so many times, we've proven it in real time using VSA as well, right? Volume spread analysis. Now, video 6 and 7 then goes on to application, okay? So really high quality material. A lot of people have found really, really good benefit out of this video, so definitely go and get them. That's at 7 steps to CTP. That would be the first place I would say begin. That will give you a solid framework, okay? That's how we got the trend alignment, the trend across different frames and all of that, all right? The next place I would say, go to our YouTube channel, right? On our YouTube channel, I know some of you, most of you have already subscribed, but you come and say that, Tiru, but we don't get notifications when you go live, right? I want to watch some of your videos later. Sometimes I can't join in live. So what you do is, you click on the all bell icon, okay? Right? You click on the all bell icon. Now, after you click on the all bell icon, whenever we go live, you will get a notification, right? Then a couple of videos what I want to do, mention to you guys in terms of the stretch principle and all of that. So if you take a look over here, let me scroll down. There you go. Under the must watch section, the first row is really good as well. We have published all of this year. You can also take a look, but I'll still say first step is 7 steps to CTP. Then the next thing you can take a look at and to understand this strategy, this principle, is the stretch principle playlist. Okay, and if you find them useful, then you also hit the like button as well. So that will help help the algos to kick in and help other traders then also watch them. Okay, we'll push it out. Right. So we got all of that now, and you got all the links for that. So these are the things I would say that you should take a look at. Quick shout out to also Trade Nation at the same time, who are actually sponsoring our ETM annual summit this year as well, and also our Telegram channel, all right, for all the signals and everything. Now the other thing, some events, I'll talk about this later, we are also being invited to go and speak in Dubai, right? And you can come and join us there. Some of our clients have already booked some tickets. They want to come and see us there. Also, we got another meeting with my mentor as well for the elite team, okay, over there in Dubai, right? So all that is happening. Also next week, as I said, we are doing with a US company. It's going to be 5 days of trading. Ninja caters. If you are on our email list, the fastest way I think to be on the email list is, go on to 7stepsctp.com, get the video course, then you're on the email list. You'll get all the events that we are doing as well. Okay. So all that is happening. So quite a lot is happening with us over here at Master the Markets. Now, with that said, let's go on into our topic. Just a quick glance at the DAX. What are we having on the DAX? At the moment, we are going quite close to target. What is the 25173, 25183? So that's about 10 points from the target. Let me see. So it's done 15, isn't it? So what we can do a small trail here, traders, on the low of this, this buyer bar here. On the low of that would be 25,133. So I will do that. Okay. Because it's gone through 70% target. We got all of that. I'll talk about this in the trailing as well when we go through it. Okay. Right. So I've got that. I'll keep this on the lookout. For now, what I'll do, right, keep this on the other screen and I'll come to this one here. Give me 1 or 2 minutes. Just give me a few seconds, really. Let me just close that one. So here, what I'll do, I'll bring this into here. Right. Okay, good. And there we go. So that brings us swiftly to our topic for today, and I'll monitor the DAX. I'll tell you all any trails that we need to do as we go along. Okay, so good. So I've got all of that now in terms of monitoring it. I've given you all the trail as well. Did I put that onto the Zoom chat as well? Let me see. So 25,133. Give me 25,133. That's what happens when you're doing quite a few things, isn't it? Also another thing, what you guys can do, also in the chat box, also, it'd be good if you can give us your feedback on what you found very useful so far in the live trading section. And also, let us know also, would you like the live trading to be separate and the topic to be on a separate video as well? So that'd be good to get your input on. That's how we can also optimize and give you all the best values also, as we go along, to serve you all in the best way that we can, okay, towards helping you all achieve consistent performance. 25,133, isn't it? Is what we are having here. 25,134, actually, I can do. Right, so we can do that. 25, it's okay, we'll do 25,133. So I think with that said, let me just do it here. Okay, good. So I put that on the Zoom chat. You guys can copy that over. Okay, good. I'll leave that as it is. And then we will see that in about 15, 20 minutes, how that's going. Now, trailing stops, right? So using SMI and VSA, and you can really, to be honest, you can apply this on any strategy, right? It really doesn't matter, or any principle. Now, the reason why most people are not letting the winners run or go towards their target, getting stopped out too early in terms of the trailing because the trail is too tight, is because of these 3-4 things that they do not have. The first thing is they do not know the 3 types of stop loss. I have written down here, they have a big knowledge gap, right? They don't know. They are in the don't know zone, right? And some of them think that, they can do it themselves, right? It's like, saying that, I think I can win the Olympics just by, training by myself, So that immediately people say, man, that's going to be very difficult. You need a lot of incredible amount of willpower, which is almost impossible, right? which maybe some people can if they really believe in it, but there's very far and few, okay? Maybe about 0.01% who can do it all by themselves. So that's the first thing, okay? Realize that there is a knowledge gap if you don't know the three types. And also that, this facade that I can do it myself, because you know what? The market's a very big, vast animal, right? That we just got to be careful of. The second thing is MAE, okay? In the MAE thing, I will talk about this. There's two types of MAE. In one of the videos that's on our YouTube channel, we talked about the first type of MAE, okay? I'll talk about this as well. The third thing is, even though you may know one and two, and have heard about it, but you don't have a market structure. Okay, I'll talk about that later as well. How do you solve that? And then the final thing, what I'll say is in terms of application also, which is the best? Okay, usually I get, after I explain the first part, I usually get the question of which is the best type of stock, trailing stock, Thiru, Can you please tell us? And how to apply all of this? They're not sure. So I'll talk all about that as we go through one by one, okay? So now let's move on to the first one. Now, trailing stops, that's three types. But what are they? What are the three types of trailing stops? Now, the first type of trailing stop, okay, is what most people are familiar with is what is called the technical stop, okay? The technical stop, right? The technical stop is very similar to what we have just did, okay? We look at some technical levels on the chart, put it behind the low of that buyer bar over there, okay? That's on our technical stop. Or you can put it behind moving averages, anything, name it, right? Fair value gaps, anything, name it, all to do with technicals. That's what is flooded online, the technical stops, right? Now, the next thing, what we then take a look at is the second type of trailing stop is what we call the money stop. Okay, the money stop. Now, what does that mean, the money stop? The money stop is basically where you say, if I am $100,000 in profit, okay, $100,000 in profit, I am going to trail my stop to 30% of that. That means if my profit diminishes to 70K, right, I'm going to exit. So this is called a money stop. And this is usually quite popular with investors, okay, when they're doing it for the long run. Because, investors, when you do it for the long run, they usually have, and quite a rule that in media and in most places you will see, they use a 30% stop, right? Not sometimes based on the monetary amount of profit, but from the total number that is at. So for example, if the DAX is at, let's say, at the moment at 25,000, right? Just say roughly 25,100, a 30% drop from that. Okay, 10% drop is 2,500. 30% drop is about 7,500 roughly, right? So if it drops 7,500 minus that number, most people will take their money out, okay? Because in industry standards, a 30% drop is like almost you're getting into a recession, right? So that's what they're saying, and that's the thing that happened in the COVID time, right? When there was a 30%, more than a 30% drop even. But remember, you've got to be careful of this number. You've got to know the volatility number. For some instruments, it'll be much more bigger, okay, like in Bitcoin and all of that, in crypto, okay? So that is the money stop, okay? The two types that you can use, either as a monetary number or from the index total number, okay? Or from the any instrument's total number. The next thing is what we call the time stop, okay? That means, let's say, I've got my target, let's say in an intraday perspective, 2 hours has passed, still hasn't hit the target, I'll start to trail it tight, like this time stop. Or you exit live, whatever your rules are as you have tested. So these are the three types of stops, okay? Now, in terms of which would be the best one, right? Which would be the best one is the usual question that we usually will get. Some places they might say that, time is actually the best one, Not really. I'll talk about this later when we get to the bonus section. Which one is the best one? But whatever it is, right, as I've written over here, I'm just looking at my notes. First is, some of you are already saying that, you know what, I didn't know this before. Oh, wow, okay, there's many types and there's subdivisions in the types as well. That's good that you're realizing the knowledge gap And also you're starting to slowly realize that, you know, without the help of a true mentor who has really gone on the other side, you know, you can't really do it yourself. You know, it's very difficult, isn't it? When you say, you know, I can do it myself, right? So it's very difficult. And also another thing, you know, what is difficult also, when I was talking to our LTM Advanced clients also yesterday, and our Canadian clients as well, is that even though you may know some of these things, but on learning all these things right now, but you still have to unlearn what you've learned from before. Then you have to learn this new thing and then relearn it until it becomes a habitual pattern for you. This is how you create habits, right? So this is all very important, traders, okay? So that's why the fastest way to do this is by hanging around like-minded people. And I'm very happy to say that our community is really growing very well. In fact, most of the developments that you're seeing on the Trading View is all done by our clients. Yesterday night, I had a message from our programming team that they have just upgraded the testing, and they're doing the automation testing on different platforms, on Python now. It's on multi-chart, it's on Python now. This is all for automation processes towards trading and scaling bigger money, which is in alignment with our meeting this Friday with my mentor as well, okay, who lives in Dubai. He just recently moved, but he's been living in UK for a very long time. But anyway, let's go on to the second thing, okay? The MAE. Now we come on to the, now that we know the three types of trailing stop loss, but you know, specifically, we are looking for this thing called the MAE. In the MAE, there's two types over there, okay? First of all, what is the MAE? The MAE is what we call the maximum adverse excursion, okay? Maximum adverse excursion. Now, in the maximum adverse excursion, there are two types of maximum adverse excursion, okay? We went deep into this in our research. That's why one of the main unique things about us is that whatever that we share over here on the educational front, we always research it first, and then we trade it, and then whatever works is what you're getting here. So it's very refined, okay? So in terms of this MAE, the two types, right? What are the two types of MAE? One type of MAE, which I've gone through in my previous video, is towards the initial stop loss, okay? The next type of MAE that we are looking at is towards the trailing stop loss, all right? So here, so let me give you a live example here, right? So here, what we have programmed here, and I'll show you how we have done it. See on the DAX, I'm just taking a look. Oh, nice volume spike over here as well. That's supporting that bottom there. But it did come close to our stop. But of course, you just got to stick in with your rules. You see, I'm not sure if this will go or not. That's not the point. I'll talk to you a bit about later as well about what the real thing is over here. Now, in terms of this, I'll just show it in here because sometimes it might take us some time to load the data. So you see, I'll just show it to you on the daily time frame here. See, if you look at the MAE side of things, right? So we got it all programmed, okay? But as I said, the first step is to quantify. I'll talk about this later on the third thing. Okay? I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me complete this first. Now, on the MAE side of things, you see, I can, from a glance, I can see that if I put my stop 1.75 ATR away, okay, from the close of this confirmation bar is where it's calculated from, I won't get stopped out 97.68% of the time, right? So this is a very powerful stats, and this is how you trade with conviction, okay? And people who have done it in real time, they are seeing it. That's how they build the conviction. You see, in our YouTube channel, right, if those of you want to go a bit more deeper into this, I don't have much time this time on the ISL side. Look at this video, okay, on the initial stop loss MAE, where this called this fixes losses, okay? Most traders get losses wrong. Nobody talks about this to this level, okay? So look at that on the ISL point. But if you want to go even more deeper, then I would suggest always 7steps to CTP.com over here, right? So with that said, now we go on to the TSL MAE, okay? The TSL MAE. Now, for the TSL MAE, what you need to do, the first thing that you need to do, right, traders, to calculate that, you need a start point, okay? When does this start point for what? When does the swing begin? Now, this is very critical, okay? So you can write that down. So when does the swing begin? The swing over here, according to our market structure, which makes very logical sense, begins when this confirmation bar, the bar with the dot, okay, confirms this bottom. Right, this is what you get with our smart money framework indicator. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about that later on. In fact, I forgot to tell you guys, okay, some of you are asking about where can I get the smart money framework indicator. I will talk to you all a bit about that later on. Now, so this is where it confirms the bottom, okay? Now, when it confirms the bottom, that's your start point over there. Now, where is my end point, okay? My end point is when the swing finishes, okay? Over here, where the orange arrow is, okay? Now, from there, then what I then do is I ask a few questions, okay? So you can, towards the end point here, in one of these instances, I've locked in as my maximum point. Now, this is important, so just follow me through on this one here. So you see, firstly, to measure your MAE, you need the start point, you need the end point, okay? Now, the end point here, in this example, I put it as the maximum point reached, which is the end of the swing. The start point here is the start of the swing, okay? Right, so I've locked in both these points. That's the first two steps you got to do. Lock in your start point and your end point, okay? Right. Now, after that, you ask yourself, now, going towards the maximum point, how much does it go below the blue line, okay, before going to the maximum point? So in this example here, so if I show you a swing that is finished, and then we project it towards the future over here, right? Here, let's say the confirmation came around here. We usually only keep it for the last two dots because it keeps it more clear, keeps it more less confusing. And you see over here, below the blue line, you see, this is how much it went against you, right? You see, towards this maximum point. That's why I say the first thing to do is lock in your start point and then your end point. End point in this example is the maximum point reached of the end of the swing. And then after that, I can see that over here, that towards the, how much does it go against me is towards this low of this green bar here. That's how this table has been populated, okay? That's the first thing. But this only helps you towards your initial stop loss, MAE. That's why I told you there's two types of MAE. Okay, the trailing stop loss MAE, right? The objective will start to change. Okay, so over here, then what we then do in terms of our trailing stop loss MAE, for every consolidation or stop that we get, okay. So for example here, right? This consolidation here, we start to measure, okay? We start to measure, first, again, I lock in my start point, okay? Then the next thing I start to measure, I get now my end point here will be the maximum it reached so far. Over here is here, okay? So far, now it's changing, right? The maximum point it reached so far in real time, okay? So the low of this. Then in relation to that low, how much did it go against me? Okay, how much did it go against me? Like that, okay? Right? That's the second thing. Then once it takes out that low, then you then do it again. Okay, where is the maximum that it went to this time? So in this case, it went to the low of this bar, and now how much did it go against me now? Right? And this is this far. So like that, I keep measuring it, and I'll record all the points. So for example, here maybe it was 50 points, this was 75 points, and then finally it reaches the end of the swing and then it turns around. So in this case, what we will say is that in terms of your trailing stop loss, you can do 75 points whenever you got a maximum point reached. Okay, so that is another way that you can do for the trailing stop loss MAE. But to do that, you got to be very, very clear, traders, on your end question and what you want to achieve in your objective. Okay, that is towards the trailing stop loss. Another type of question that you can also ask in a trailing stop loss is when to trail to break even, when to break even in your trailing stop loss. I covered this in another YouTube video. You can go and watch that as Well, okay, I gave you some pointers on how to do that. So that's all in our research that we do. But some of you might say, you know what, Tirul, but how do I just don't know where to begin, because I don't know where to lock in my start point and end point. Okay, I just don't know how to do that. So then the third part then comes in. And the reason why you don't know how to lock in your beginning point and your end point is because you got no market structure. Okay, I've talked about this extensively in the previous videos. I'm not going to take too much time right now, but you can also watch it on our 7stepstoctp.com as well. Okay, and those of you who watched all of that, I can also give you the link for the get the smart money framework indicator, which I'll share with the link, or the team can already put it out there. Now you see, to solve the market structure problem, you need to define your swing. Okay, when does the swing begin? The beginning point and then the end point. Once you've done that, basically what you've done is you quantified your top and bottom, which is what I've put over here, right? That's what you're seeing over here, right? Once you got that, you got your market structure. From there, you can get so much data out. Now, once you got this, I'm telling you, you will see a shift, and that's what we've seen with all our clients. That's why they stick with us over 10 years. Our programming community is also increasing to improve the product, to uplift the community by itself, okay? The community itself uplifts the community. That's how you formulate and form a very strong community together, right? But the first step is to define your market structure. This will shift your whole trading journey and help you move massively towards consistent performance. Within 6 months, 8 months, we see massive transformations in our clients, right? Who have come on to, got the Smart Money Framework indicator. They then come on to our programs, the Traders Basecamp package, and gone on forward, okay? So you've seen all that. Traders Basecamp package, very, very important for strategy construction, all right? Now I go on to the last part. I know I'm running a little bit out of time, but then, remember the first question that we asked, which is the best? Which is the best type of trailing stop, right? The answer to that is, it's a combination, traders, okay? You use a combination of technical, money, and time stop, all right? That's how you do it. And also very important, it's got to be aligned with how you construct your strategy, and most importantly, in your strategy, the concept of your strategy and your objective. Don't mix too many objectives into one strategy. This is another thing that people get confused about, and they're hitting a needle in a haystack, right? You just can't. You're finding a needle in a haystack. You just can't do it. Maybe you can segregate the strategies. That's another thing that interviews that we did. We interviewed one guy who was recommended by Tom Barsel, who was a market visit, and that was Lawrence Benstop, and he had 55 trading systems, and he reconciled with everything that we are actually telling you guys right now, that do different strategies with different objectives, okay, that you need to have. Maximum you can have 3 to begin as a retail trader, and you can expand it more if you're going for much more scaling for institutional money, right? So those are the things I would say. Reflect on that. Now, as a recap, what have we looked at, traders? We looked at first the 3 types of stops, okay, which is the technical stop, the money stop, and then the time stop, okay, which is what we looked at, right? Now, the second thing that we also looked at, okay, is the MAE numbers, right? The trailing stop, okay? The trailing stop, there's MAE, and the MAE is maximum adverse exertion. There's 2 types in there. One is for trailing, and one is for initial stop, okay? And I gave you some pointers on how to do your trailing stop MAE as well. Now, the third thing then we also looked at, right, just now, is to define your beginning and your end point, to get all your MAE numbers and all the other stats, is you need to get your market structure, okay? You need to define the start and the end of the swing, okay? Now, finally, then towards the best question, which is the best type of trailing stop, as I said over here, is combination and the alignment with your strategy construction, mainly towards the CO, the first component, which is the concept objective. Right, traders, I guess that's that one on the topic. Now, if I want to go back onto here again, let's see how we're doing on the DAX, and I'll give you also some of you are asking in terms of, we hit our target, nice spike there. Hit our first target at least, 25,183 was our target, wasn't it, traders? So that's good. We hit that. 25,133 was our stop. That I didn't see that come on our account as well. So that's good so far. In terms of this, okay, one thing I must do say, I do struggle to analyze this as we're teaching as well. So that's why I want to expand our intraday team. And I know that a lot of our traders, don't have time in the day. So those of you who want to join us on the intraday stuff, do definitely email us at clientservice@masterthemarkets.net. That'd be good to have you on the team, and we can progress you forward as well. Okay, right. Because mainly, you need time in the day. For us, is I always prefer end of day strategies, and we share with you all the results because I need the freedom of time to do the other things also. So that's why I'd like to expand the team in terms of the intraday side, and some of our Ultimate Advanced members are going to look into it. So we'll see how that carries on. Now, our stop, right? Our stop was at 25,133. This bar here might have, scan you a little bit, but you see what I showed you today on trailing stop. We know where to trail it with all our research that we have done, and then we saw that that didn't really come to our trailing stop. Now, listen, another thing that I must do caution you is always not just about one trade. Just because we won in this doesn't mean that it's all the holy grail over here. No, we are professionals. We know how to look at things as well. So you got to look at the probabilities in a series of trades as well. So if you look at all our previous videos on our YouTube channel, right, when you go live and everything, when you go under the live section here, you've seen that we have done so many live streams, right? That you've seen some trades, come straight to the stop, hit us out. Some of them come very near and then turn towards the target. Some go straight to the target. So it really doesn't matter, traders. Okay, you got to think in terms of probabilities. You got to think in terms of also as a professional. Okay, think in terms of series of numbers and long numbers. Right. I think with that all said, traders, the final things I will do, remind you, 7stepsctp.com is the first thing that you can get all this information, and you can work through it in a logical way. Now, the other thing that you can also take a look at, once you got all the, put in all your details in over here on the three fields over here, name, email, and number, then you will get your 7 videos, and you can go through them slowly, okay? Then the other thing that you can also then see is the SMI OE, okay? If you want to get it onto your charts, you can come onto this page over here, read through it, and then you can get the subscription onto that, and you can have the small indicator, and you can use that with VSA, any of your other methodologies, fair value gap, anything that you want to have, okay? So that's that one here, or the SMI OE over here as well, right? And there's a small discount code there as well that you can use for a limited period of time. Okay, we release that every month for only a small number of people only. So we do that so you can take advantage of that. The other thing is on a YouTube channel, youtube.com/master the markets, which you can see over here is what you can then take a look at as well. Okay, and you can take a look at all the homepage videos over here on the top row. This will also guide you through as well. But I would say the first place is 7 Steps to CTP. And then if you want to go a bit already, you've been on the fence, you want to get it, life got in the way, you know what, just go ahead, just get it, right? And then play around with it. I highly encourage you guys to do it. You just don't get the indicator only with the framework and everything, but you also get the portal, and you also get monthly group sessions and so many more other things as well, okay, along with your subscription. So you can go through and read it on this page. You can see all the different things that you will get over here, okay, all these different things, not just the indicator, but so many other things as well. Right, I think with that said, over here, I've told you about the upcoming events, a YouTube channel, subscribe, and then after that, you click on the all bell icon as well. And then Trade Nation, quick shout out to our sponsors for ETM Summit, also for the Telegram channel, also for our live training workshops over here. Dubai Expo, that's coming up. We're going to be speaking there. So we'll see you, many of you there. Oh, whoever is in Dubai, come and say hi. We're going to have a stand over there. So that'd be good to see you guys as well. And then finally, also other events that are coming up is our Ninja Caters event as well that we are doing along with Ninja Caters. Check out in our emails. The best place to get into our emails is on 7 Steps to CTP. Once you're on that, you get to our email list as well. Okay, there's going to be a 5-day live trading workshop over there as well. So check our emails and you can get onto that as well. Okay, there'll be a small fee on that. You can take a look in our emails also for that. Right, and I think I mentioned most of it. So we got the Dubai Expo coming, and we got the Ninja Caterers event, and then also now all the other things that are happening with product development and all that. We are also having another meeting for the Vedanta Elite members on with my mentor as well this Friday. That's going to be exciting times. With all that said, traders, I think that's pretty much it. I'll just leave it on this page, 7stepsctp.com, for those of you who want to visit that and look through the videos. Okay, I think with all of that said, as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.